Hi, this presentation provides part two of an introduction to the 2025 Nexus Assessment Report of the Intergovernmental Science Policy Platform, Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services. In the first part of the presentation, we covered the first 6 slides of this presentation, finishing up with high leverage intervention points and associated linkages. For this part of the lecture, we're going to discuss biodiversity response options, climate change response options, food response options, health response options, and water response options suggested by the IPBES Nexus framework. The IPBES Nexus Assessment includes 14 biodiversity response options. IPBES frames response options as policies and actions that address direct and indirect drivers of biodiversity loss and secure nature's contribution to people within a co-produced multi-knowledge system conceptual framework. Responses span conservation, restoration, sustainable use, spatial planning, demand-side measures such as diet and waste, and transformative governance, implemented from local to global levels by governments, Indigenous peoples, local communities, cities, private sector, and civil society. They are intended to support and be assessed against major international objectives: the Convention for Biodiversity, the UN Framework Climate Convention or Paris Agreement, and the Sustainability Development Goals. The response options include area-based conservation, urban nature-based solutions, agroecology, ecosystem-based adaptation in rural landscapes, forest landscape restoration, restoration of coastal and marine systems, restoration of inland water systems, rewilding, integrated landscape and seascape approaches, rights-based approaches, multilateral environment agreements, land and sea planning, natural capital accounting, and reconnecting people with nature. The IPBES Nexus Assessment includes 15 climate change response options. IPBES engages climate mainly through a Nexus lens, assessing climate change response options, mitigation and adaptation for the impacts on biodiversity, water, food systems, and human health and well-being, and how they interact with Sustainability Development Goals, the Paris Agreement, and Convention on Biodiversity targets. The response options include increased soil organic carbon interventions, sustainable intensification, integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, wetland conservation and restoration, offshore wind power, solar photovoltaics on land, sustainable bioeconomy, reduce short-lived climate pollutants, multi-hazard early warning systems, global cooperation for finance and technology, agroecology, forest-based practices to address climate change, restoration of coastal and marine ecosystems for carbon sequestration, urban nature-based solutions, and sustainable healthy diets. The IPBES Nexus Assessment includes 16 food response options. Food responses in the IPBES IPCC Nexus are about transforming food systems from production to diets to achieve food security, climate and biodiversity goals simultaneously. The food response options include halt conversion of ecosystems of high ecological integrity, restore soil health, sustainable intensification, ecological intensification of croplands, ecological intensification of rangelands, ecological intensification of aquatic foods, reduce nutrient pollution, reduce pesticide pollution, reduce plastic pollution, reduce food loss and waste, sustainable healthy diets, city region food systems, Reforming public spending. The IPBES Nexus Assessment includes 15 health response options. Health-relevant response options cluster into the following: health promoting climate mitigation, policies that cut greenhouse gas and air pollutant emissions while improving health, including health, clean air, active transport, healthier food environments, low carbon buildings, and decarbonising healthcare. Climate resilient low carbon health systems, including governance, infrastructure, workforce, supply chains, and information systems designed to withstand climate shocks and reduce health sector emissions. Public health adaptation and emergency preparedness, including surveillance, early warning systems, heat, flood, drought, and vector-borne disease plans, integrated primary care and public health, and digital alert systems. Health in all policies and sustainability development goals, integrated governance, using the SDGs as a systems framework to integrate health, climate, and biodiversity in national strategy and sectoral policies. The health response options include universal health coverage, intercultural health services, net zero sustainable healthcare, sustainable use of medicinal plants, nature on prescription, reduce meat overconsumption, pollution prevention, mangrove conservation and restoration for health, urban green infrastructure, forest conservation for health, biodiversity management for zoonoses, integrated watershed health interventions, health impact assessments, the One Health approach, and integrated health education. The IPBES Nexus Assessment includes 15 water response options. Across the IPBES and Nexus relevant literature, water-focused response options include water security and resilience adaptations, including stormwater management, wastewater reuse, leakage reduction, water pricing, public awareness, rainwater harvesting, storage, reuse and transfers tailored to different scales. Integrated water resources management, IWRM, including basin scale, cross-sector coordination for allocation, quality and ecosystem protection, especially in Africa. Nature-based solutions, or NBS, for water, including wetland restoration, riparian buffers, urban green infrastructure, catchment reforestation, and other ecosystem-based measures that manage floods, runoff and water quality while supporting biodiversity. Climate resilient water infrastructure and utilities, upgrading aging systems, adopting climate resilient technologies, strengthening governance and project management to secure urban water supplies, sustainable development goals and Paris-aligned water governance, including localising SDG 6 and Paris Agreement goals in policies and investment decisions with explicit attention to interaction with other SDGs. The water response options include inclusive water education, integrated water infrastructure, dam operation, efficient water use in agriculture, sustainable inland fisheries, inclusive water management, rights of nature, transboundary water cooperation, groundwater governance, finance for water infrastructure, managing alien species, managing wastewater, water-sensitive urban infrastructure, addressing gendered burdens on water collection, and community water management. If you found the presentation interesting and enjoyable, comment and like the presentation and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate constructive comments and suggestions. What are we doing right? What should we do better or more? What should we change or do less? You'll find new presentations in different aspects of the Civil Nexus platform as they are posted. If you're interested in exploring the Civil Nexus platform, contact us via the comments to request access to a personal use
read-only copy of the repository that you can virus scan and browse on your desktop. You'll need to visit the Spark Systems website to download and install the free Spark Systems EA Reader to access the models. If you're interested in collaborating on the platform for initiatives to address polycrisis, contact us via the comments to request edit permissions and access. We're interested to make your polycrisis mitigation initiatives of civil society groups visible to others. We can facilitate video conferences to help you document and link your initiatives and stakeholders in the Civil Nexus platform. We can provide basic written advice on configuring software, system, and platform connections. The platform tools are mostly free and open source software, or FOSS, suitable for Windows and Linux computers. But the editing-enabled versions of Spark's Enterprise Architect are a commercial product with a range of pricing and capability options. Even if you're not interested in Civil Nexus, get involved with civil society organisations interested in big picture solutions to polycrisis mitigation and adaptation. Continue hoping that BAU multilateral coordination will provide adaptation for polycrisis. Multilateralism is opposed by autocrats, well-funded private industry groups, and their captured legislators, regulators, and jurists. Progress on achieving required outcomes needs to happen 5 times faster than current rates to avoid the deepest societal collapses.